It started like any other Saturday morning. I was in my backyard, sweat dripping down my face as I tightened the last wooden beam of my new workshop. The hum of the drill echoed across the quiet cul-de-sac until I heard that sharp, unmistakable voice. "What do you think you're doing?" I looked up, and there she was, Karen Thompson, self-appointed guardian of the neighborhood, HOA board member, and full-time gossip. She stood at the edge of my yard, hands on her hips, phone already in hand like it was a weapon. "You can't just start building illegal structures in this community," she snapped. "I'm calling the cops right now." I sighed, wiping my hands on my jeans. "Karen, this isn't illegal. It's just, save it for the authorities," she barked, already dialing. 15 minutes later, a patrol car rolled up. The officer stepped out, calm but curious. Karen was already rehearsing her courtroom speech. "He's building without HOA approval. It's an illegal construction project." The officer turned to me. "Sir, do you have any permits for this?" "Yes, I do," I said, pulling the papers from my folder. "It's approved by the county. This is my property." Karen scoffed. "Your land?" "The HOA map shows this as shared property." I walked inside, came back out with a rolled-up county survey map, and spread it across the hood of the cruiser. The officer's eyebrows rose as he studied it. "Ma'am," he said slowly, pointing at the map, "according to this entire section, including your deck, is on his property." Karen's face turned pale. "That can't be right," she stammered. "That's my deck. My husband built it." The officer gave her a look that said otherwise. "We'll have a county surveyor confirm it, just to be sure." She didn't reply. She just stormed off, her phone clutched like a lifeline. When the patrol car left, I looked back at the map, my heart pounding. If the officer was right, Karen's precious deck, the one she hosted HOA meetings and wine nights on, was sitting squarely on my land. And that was just the beginning. A few days later, I called the county office and arranged for a surveyor to come out. His name was Mr. Miller, a tall, quiet man with a steady voice and decades of experience. "We'll get this sorted out," he promised. Meanwhile, Karen was on a rampage. By midweek, she had plastered the neighborhood with flyers reading, "Stop illegal construction in our community." She didn't name me, but everyone knew who she meant. Every time I stepped outside, she was there on her deck, measuring, glaring, gossiping. Once, she even blasted opera music from her outdoor speakers, probably to punish me for daring to build something on my own land. I ignored her. I just kept building. Then Saturday came. The surveyor's white truck rolled up my driveway at 9 a.m. sharp. "Morning," Mr. Miller said, shaking my hand. "Let's find out whose land this really is." Within minutes, Karen came stomping out in her robe. "What's going on here? Who authorized this?" Mr. Miller didn't even flinch. "Ma'am, I'm from the county. Just verifying the property line." She folded her arms. "That's unnecessary. The HOA already has maps." "HOA maps don't determine property boundaries," he said politely. "The county does." Her mouth opened, then shut. She huffed and marched back inside. An hour later, Miller called me over. "You'll want to see this," he said, tapping his tablet. "Your property line runs right through there." He pointed at the posts beneath her deck. "That deck's 6 feet over your boundary." I blinked. "You're serious?" "Dead serious," he said. "That deck isn't hers." Just then, Karen came storming back out. "Excuse me. What are you people?" Miller turned the tablet toward her. "Ma'am, this entire section of your deck is on Mr. Harris's property." Her face flushed red. "That's impossible. My husband got HOA approval." "Approval from the HOA," he said gently, "doesn't override county law." She froze, speechless. Then she stomped back inside and slammed her door so hard one of her flower pots fell off the rail. Miller sighed. "You might want to brace yourself," he said. "This isn't over." He was right. 2 days later, a man in a gray suit showed up at my door with a folder. "Mr. Harris?" "I'm with the HOA. Mrs. Thompson filed a complaint for property harassment." I blinked. "Property harassment? You mean the county survey she called for?" He just shrugged. "I'm only delivering the notice." From across the street, Karen stood on her deck smirking, phone in hand. By that evening, everyone in the neighborhood knew about it. Kids stopped cutting across my yard. Neighbors stopped waving. Karen was winning the public war. But she wasn't done. That night, I found muddy footprints near my workshop, her size, her gardening clogs. My trash can was tipped over, my lumber soaked from the sprinkler she accidentally left running overnight. I tried to de-escalate. I even emailed her. Karen, I'd appreciate it if we both respected each other's property until the county sorts this out. Her reply came 10 minutes later. Don't contact me again. My lawyer will be in touch. So I installed a motion-activated security camera on my workshop, just in case. At midnight, I woke to a scraping sound outside. When I checked the footage the next morning, there she was, Karen, in her robe, dragging one of my boards toward her deck and painting "Stay off my land" across it in white letters. The irony nearly made me laugh. I tried confronting her peacefully the next afternoon. Karen, please, I said, walking to the fence. This has to stop. I have you on video trespassing. Her watering can froze mid-pour. You filmed me. I'm not trying to start anything. I just want this to end. She turned, her face tight with anger. You made me look like a fool in front of everyone. I built that deck with my own hands. I know, I said quietly, but it's on my land. Let's just both back off. Her lips curled into a smirk. Oh, I'll back off, all right. When the HOA tears that ugly shed of yours down. Then she turned her hose on me, drenching me head to toe. I walked home dripping and furious. 2 days later, I found a red cease construction notice taped to my front door, issued by the county. She'd filed a false report claiming I was building on her property. The irony was dizzying. I called the county immediately, explained everything, and sent over my documents. We'll review it, the clerk said, but it may take a few weeks. So my workshop sat unfinished while Karen hosted victory parties on her illegal deck. But I didn't react. I gathered every photo, every document, every video clip into a folder labeled proof. When 2 county inspectors finally arrived, I showed them everything, the survey results, the permits, even the video of her midnight graffiti session. One of them sighed. She's filed 3 false complaints this year, he said. I nodded. So I'm not the first. No, he said, but you might be the last. That night, I found my workshop vandalized, red spray paint slashed across the walls, trespasser, thief. At the base of the wall lay one of her floral gardening gloves, wet with paint. That was the moment I decided I'd had enough. I called a lawyer the next morning, Ethan Rhodes, a calm, level-headed property attorney. He listened carefully, then said, She's crossed from nuisance into criminal behavior. I'll send her a cease and desist notice today. By that afternoon, I saw him hand-delivering it. Karen read it on her driveway, ripped it in half, and screamed, You'll regret this. I didn't respond. That night, rain poured. Around midnight, my phone buzzed with emotion alert. I opened the live feed and froze. There was Karen, in a raincoat, flashlight in one hand and hammer in the other, prying at the boards of my workshop. Then she slipped, fell backward into the mud, and scrambled home drenched and shaking. The next morning, I called the police. Officer Miller, the same one from the beginning, watched the footage in silence. She's trespassing again, he said. We'll file charges. Within hours, county workers arrived to remark the boundary line, with bright orange paint cutting straight through her deck. For the first time, Karen didn't say a word. She just stood there, pale and still. 3 days later, my lawyer called. The county's rechecked the old blueprints, he said. It's worse than we thought. Her deck isn't the only part over your line. Part of her house foundation is too. I blinked. You're kidding. No. The original developer messed up the survey decades ago. But legally, that's her problem now. When the official notice arrived, Karen read it on her porch. Her hands shook. You're trying to destroy me, she shouted across the yard. No, I said softly. I just want what's mine. Her eyes filled with tears. My husband built that deck before he died. It's all I have left of him. For a second, my anger faded. I didn't know, I said quietly. She looked down. I just didn't want to lose it. But she did, because the next night, desperate to fix the problem, she hired unlicensed handymen to adjust the deck. They hit a support beam, and half the structure collapsed into the mud. I ran outside as Karen stood in the wreckage, hands trembling. This wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered. I sighed. You could have just asked for help. Her voice cracked. I didn't want you to win. When the county came the next morning to inspect the damage, they found something strange buried beneath her deck, an old metal box stamped with faded initials, RT 1984. Inside were yellow documents and a letter. It was from her late husband. To whoever owns this land, I redrew the boundary years ago to save my company. My wife doesn't know. Please forgive her. Karen read it in silence, tears running down her cheeks. All those years, she'd been defending a lie. I didn't know, she whispered. He lied to me. I believe you, I said quietly. Maybe now, we can both move on. She nodded weakly. Maybe we can. A month later, the county redrew the boundaries properly. The HOA called it an unfortunate historical error. Karen sold her house and moved away quietly, leaving me a short note and her house key. I was fighting for something I never really owned. Take care of it better than I did. Now, when I step out into my yard, I see peace, not victory. Her deck is gone. My workshop stands finished. The line between our homes is clean again. And every time I hear the wind move through the fence, I remember what the officer said that first day. Property lines don't lie, but people do. He was right. The land is finally mine. And so is my peace.